We are returning, the creative return. Here we are. And from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific. It's good to be back on this coast with these deep blue waters. And the turquoise of the Atlantic was something to behold, something so nourishing and beautiful. And then I come to these shores and sit with all the birds so potent and alive, and these waters so deep and in its own way full of codes and remembering. I love the Pacific. It has definitely taken hold of my heart. So here we are. It's been a minute since the full moon. I've had to take a moment. But let's take a breath together in this day, in this moment, the 9th of March, 2026. It's a Monday. Wherever you find yourself, whenever you're watching this, give yourself just a moment to take a breath. Noticing where you're touching the earth, noticing your heartbeat. How do you feel in this body, this human body? How did you feel in this day? What are you waking up to? What's on your mind? How can you hold it all? Wow, it's been an incredible landing back in Santa Monica from our time away. And on this day, I sit contemplating rest, the duality, coming home to ourselves, being compassionate. Oh, there's so many things that I think about. I was walking here, I just dropped Lara off for volleyball. So it gives me a moment to sit by the ocean with you and share these contemplative thoughts. I was walking to the ocean, and right in front of me, this pelican flew and landed and just sat there and allowed me a moment to really admire and be with him or her, this pelican, this beautiful creature that I am in such deep admiration of. When I see pelicans, you'll see me become a child that waves and say hi, because they are to me a reminder of how to be in relationship with with it all, with others, to be in collaboration. You'll hardly ever see a pelican alone, and if you do, the others are close behind or not far ahead. They herd fish together. So they're always collaborating to feed. They soar, they glide with such ease. There's very little effort in how they participate, and yet they are always got us. It seems to me as if they're always have a smile on their face. It's so divine. Pelican magic. And then, of course, I had to go and research some of the other symbolic meanings that are out there and that I could find on Google, and with the help of chat, chat GPT can be helpful sometimes. Um, and it had some beautiful things to say about the esoteric meanings behind um, the pelican magic and the symbolism for us as humans that we can harness and learn from and sit with. Um, there's this beautiful, I mean, it's old. It's a vessel that they created in the form of a pelican kind of receding back into itself. And it's a glass vessel that they use to process in a process called circulation, where the water evaporates and then returns to itself. So a lot of the pelican symbolism is about self renewal and continuous transformation and returning to oneself to refine essence. But it's about communal intelligence, community collaboration, shared abundance, And yeah, it's also said trusting in the collective field. Yeah, the Pelican magic. So that was really fun walking here, contemplating what I would be talking to you about or sharing as I come back after what feels like a long few days of rest, not rest, because life is full. Life is full. And I have to say, I've missed being here, and I was almost a little bit afraid that it would be really hard to get myself back in this space because it took me so long to open this door to be in community with you on this platform in this way with a microphone and a camera and just speaking my thoughts out at you and really contemplating being human, the ordinary way we can be and find the extraordinary within just being here. It can be such an extraordinary experience washing your dishes or driving your kids around or, getting ready for bed, taking a bath, cleaning the floors. Life is so full if we choose to see it. So the duality is very real for me in this moment as I come from rest and step back in so many ways. And we're halfway through a moon cycle. The full moon was incredibly potent, and it almost left me a little breathless. First with joy, and then with pretty intense grief spiral that hit me. Um, and it's interesting as I went to Finding My Bones that I have been reading to you, and I'm going to invite you to pick up a copy and read with me. I like to just open it and see where it opens, and today it opened at chapter 19, and it's all the chapter's title basically is um, beginning again and again. And begin acrostically is birth extends growth and invites the new. And then I continue to tell my own birth story and the moment where I recognize choice. And if I can explain to you the amounts of times that I heard myself say, we can choose, we are at a choice point, this is what's happening right now. We're all feeling it so fiercely. The duality is real in this world. And I don't think that's ever going to go away. But our awareness of it and our perspective of choice and what is available, wow, it's becoming more and more real. We cannot pretend that it's all light or it's all dark. It's all real and it's all true. And we get to choose what we tell ourselves. We get to choose what we believe. And I remember the day when I became aware of choice in this very deep, specific way, um, not just in the simple things like what am I going to eat today, but as far as how I exist and how I perceive what is happening to me, that I can perceive suffering or I can perceive growth. I can be in this exact same circumstance and go into depression about it, or I can go into curiosity and look for what else might be possible. And that was the moment because it was a good 9 month cycle of high anxiety, deep depression, hard to wake up. And when I did, it was hard to talk to me. Many tantrums. It was pretty severe. And that morning I woke up, it was like a beam of sunlight on my forehead that just said, "Hey, don't you remember?" And I sat up in my bed, and it was this simple of a moment. And I went, "Oh my God, I choose to be here. I have chosen everything up to this point. Every moment and avenue I have chosen to walk down was literally my choice. And how I see it and how I think about it, I can choose." And so I went, "Isn't that interesting?" And the moment I shifted gears in this way, life shifted for me. New opportunities showed up, and I stepped into lanes that I could never have dreamed of or come up for myself. It was like I literally asked the universe, just show me what else is possible. And we'll continue to talk about this. It's a big theme for me to go back to again and again, is how we choose. And then the other thing was like really contemplating compassion for self, because it's so easy to fall into patterns of thinking and thinking we are our thoughts and thinking we are our feelings, and sort of get lost in claiming that as ourselves. And I even had that moment this week where I really felt the grief come up, an old story, and a reactivity to how I am in relationship and what I have to offer, and is it enough? Isn't it enough? All these wonderful curiosities and avenues I could go down. And I heard myself doing that, but I became aware of my awareness of it. I became more of an observer of these thoughts. And even one where I could feel the fear, will I be able to pull this camera and microphone out again and actually step into conversation with you here? And I kind of just observed that thought and feeling, and I said, no, of course I am. It's it's alive, and you are there, and you are receiving, and I am here to share, and we will step into this conversation, and you will start to engage more, and um, I will trust this call. I will just trust this format, this long form, just conversation of how I see and perceive, and share my little corner of the world, this little sand kernel that I sit on, this community I belong to. Here I am. It wasn't that hard to pull it out again. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am. So, compassion for self, becoming aware of our thoughts, embodying our feelings. I have this beautiful, you've met Stacy, and she reminded us again about receiving information through the body. So, instead of naming or putting naming something specific or labeling it with something, rather going to the body. I received it, and this part of my body felt constricted or opened. So I don't know if you can hear that, but in Santa Monica there's always a helicopter going by with some adding some extra noise. um, so really receiving information through the body first, and allowing ourselves just to feel what it feels like, and then breathing into that sensation, allowing ourselves to be more curious rather than labeling, and then, becoming that emotional, that thought. So I feel the body and our heart centered practice is really helpful. Using your breath and using that awareness to come back to yourself is another way of just practicing compassion. And I love it. Just being more compassionate with self makes us a lot less judgmental, a lot less uh, you know we won't perceive others judging us. You can just step in as yourself and be an offer to your community. Collaborate. Be a pelican. Be a pelican. Soar effortlessly. I love it. I love it. So being human is the art. That's our tagline here at the Creative Return. And I'm very excited because over the next few weeks, I'm going to sit in conversation with some beautiful beings that are bringing creative work and perspective and practices that we will want to share with you. So stay tuned and know that this space, this portal, is where I will be conversing with you, but I will bring really sweet conversation with others that have a lot to offer and that can fill your toolbox more and more and more. And in the meantime, I'm going to invite you to take a walk outside. If you're near the ocean, find your way to the beach, put your feet in the sand, in the water, or just go stand under a tree and listen deeply. They have so much to share. It does take practice to hear them and deep, deep stillness. And then a final note of just honoring the rest, honoring yourself when you know you're exhausted. Because the duality is real. What did I write here? I said, the duality is there. It's in movement and finding stillness. It's an exhaustion, and honoring exhaustion and rest brings inspiration. Longing, belonging. That's a big one for me too. Longing to belong while honoring our individuality. Yes. We're in that space again, choice point. Who are you? Who do you choose to be? And how is it an offer to the whole? How can it be of service to more? And then for me it was unplugging and then plugging back in. The beauty of duality alive in this being human. It's amazing. All right, my friends, I think that's it for today. I love you, and I send you so many blessings. If you're open to receiving the love and the light, let it be so. Know that you are enough. That's a big one. Can we recognize enoughness? And as you are, thank you for being. Much love, always. Until I see you next time. So I walked towards the beach. This guy just flew right in front of me and came to sit right in front of me. Just amazing bird. Mr. Pelican. So much information to share.